What's going on? James Bonnet here. In this video, I'm going to interview a longtime student of ours, Caleb Ulku, who was a very large SEO agency and landed a ton of his clients on Upwork. I'm talking about big name clients like Stanley Black and Decker, amongst other ones. We'll talk about that in his interview. And he's going to talk about how AI is changing the SEO game and how adding this SEO service is easier now than ever. He's a multi-million-dollar SEO agency, only did SEO for a long time. When he came to us, he wanted to add paid ads into his portfolio. He ended up doing that and grew his agency to large levels. He is experienced. He is top-notch, worked with top-notch companies. And I had to get him on to talk about how AI is changing the game and making it even easier for agencies to maybe who weren't doing SEO to add it as a service to increase your revenue. Enjoy. And if you like this content, make sure you like, subscribe, and give me a comment down below and share this video in case others also want to learn about this. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. So Caleb, welcome back to the channel, because this is now going to be the second time you've been, I think 2 times you've been on here, right?
Second is correct. Yeah, absolutely.
So you've been a long time student of ours. I mean, I wouldn't even say student, really become kind of like we've kind of gotten into the role of like bouncing ideas off of each other, both business owners, but you've landed like very large SEO clients for your agency over the last, how many years? It's been 8 years, 10 years?
2016. So 8 years. Good guess, man. I'm
No.
impressed.
Nice. So 2016, name some of the SEO clients that you've had.
Yeah, the first big one was Skillshare.com. That was a great client. We were able to rank them for the term graphic design, which was pretty cool. We've also had Stanley Black and Decker, and that's an unusual one just for fun. Like one of their brands that they own is DeWalt, and the search term DeWalt drill actually has more volume than the unbranded search of drill, which is almost unheard of.
That's
That's how
crazy.
powerful their brand is. And humorously, they weren't ranking for the search word drill. Uh, yeah, and we had Adobe, also one of our clients, for SEO purposes. So yeah, we've had some big, multinational companies looking to grow their online traffic.
Yeah, it's crazy. And so like, just to kind of give context, Jason and I, when we started in 2000, when I started in 2014, my agency was built, it was rank and ran, all SEO related stuff, right? That's how I was building mine. And then, I ran into the whole problem of 6 months, 8 months, 12 months. Clients are paying for just SEO with nothing in return. And that's kind of where we kind of coined the whole term of, or the saying of like clients now versus clients later. SEO was the clients later. Paid traffic was the clients now. And, that's how we've been running it. It's how we've always taught it. But we do find that a lot of our students still shy away from SEO because it's complicated, right? I mean, it's just like a very complicated thing. And so I guess my question to you is, I know SEO is coming back, meaning I can already see the industry. They're going to start pushing this whole SEO thing, and I think it has to do with AI. So I know that you're big into AI SEO, so I'd love to just kind of like rack your brain on that. So give me like
Yeah, absolutely.
how come you started to get into still doing the SEO service but implementing AI into that? Because I thought like Google kind of can know the difference between AI writing and not.
Yeah, well, so it's funny, at least so far as we know, unless Google has a secret tool, they can't tell what is AI written and what is not AI written. Of course, OpenAI, the makers of ChatGPT, they once published a tool to detect AI content. It's no longer published. It was accurate only half of the time, which is, obviously exactly the same as just randomly guessing.
Right, right.
Um, so it's very hard, if not impossible, to detect content that was written for AI. And in fact, within the last 6 months, Google actually updated their content guidelines to specifically say they don't care if your content was written by AI. They care whether it's helpful to its
Right.
users, to
The
searchers.
context of it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, especially when we had Skillshare as a client, I mean, we had a little army of content writers to produce sufficient content. And you're absolutely right. SEO can seem very technical and very opaque, but fundamentally, SEO is about content and links, right? How do you
Right.
write content and then structure the content on your website so that Google understands what it is you're talking about, right? Because remember, Google can't read.
Right.
It is in and of itself using machine learning, which is sort of like a precursor to AI, to try to figure out what your content is about. So that's really SEO, content and links. So we had Skillshare. We're trying to rank for graphic design, and we are just cranking out content to try to establish this authoritative position in the field of graphic design. We had a dozen copywriters all cranking out articles of differing qualities. And
Right.
I know you're chuckling. If you've ever tried to manage more than like one copywriter, it's like herding cats. They're very difficult to manage big groups of them and keep quality levels consistent.
Right.
So one of the first approaches that we use for AI, and it's still one of the main ones, is we don't actually employ content writers anymore. There's no need to. ChatGPT can write excellent copy. The problem, and there's two big problems using AI to write copy. One is it can hallucinate. I'm sure you've heard that term. It's a very
Yeah.
polite term. Basically means that AI just makes things up, right? I don't know. There's this very funny dad joke. Why can you never trust an atom?
I have no idea.
Because it makes up everything.
Right.
So ChatGPT is like that too, right? It just will confidently declare things that are completely wrong. So we have a human editor that fact checks everything that ChatGPT comes out with, and it's a good synergy because he used to be a newspaper editor, so he's very good at fact checking. And the second big focus, if you're using AI content, you need to add uniqueness, right? The way all AI models are built right now, and maybe this will change, but at least for now, they are incapable of doing anything unique, right? A lot of people, especially in this space, they read a lot of content. You can get an idea if it's sort of AI content, if it's very generic and
Mhm.
vague and not super helpful, and it doesn't rely on personal experience. So our editor fact checks the content and adds uniqueness, and that could be his own personal experience, or maybe he's going to go onto Reddit and read a couple of threads. Maybe he's going to read a couple of posts on Trustpilot, because those are typically done by real people, and add some of that information into the article, even going so far as to quote specific users on Reddit or the usernames who left the reviews on Trustpilot. We're not plagiarizing, we'll give them credit, but
Right.
adding those types of things makes it valuable content rather than just, AI
Generated.
garbage.
So I
Yeah.
guess my question is that so will when it comes to AI and SEO, will is it just making it easier and faster to do the things that you need to do to get let's say a website ranked? Because I know no matter what anybody says out there, links still plays a huge role. So is it more like, all right, now I don't need the 12 editors. I could just develop this content, whether it be articles on the website or whatever it might be, faster and probably better with maybe one fact checker and one editor. But then I'm gonna what outsource my link building, or like how what's the process look like now compared to what it was 2 years ago when there was, or however long it was prior to Chat GPT and
Yeah.
all that AI?
Great question. So when we land a new client now, and you said SEO is clients later, paid ads is client now. So one of our goals in our years running an SEO agency, if we can deliver a quick win, if we can deliver a measurable bump in traffic, customers within the first month or two, that is probably going to be a long-term client,
Right.
right? They'll stick around for a long time if we can deliver a meaningful wins within the first couple of months. So even a couple of years ago, that was our focus. And we know that the Google Search Console, which is a free tool by Google, you can install it on your website, and it gives you a lot of information about how many clicks you're getting, what search terms people are clicking on, all of this. Google Search Console can give you an overwhelming amount of data that can take a lot of work to actually analyze and decide what to do with that data. So sometimes we'd get lazy and rely on third-party tools, but their data is not as good as Search Console.
Right.
So the great thing now, and if you have ChatGPT 4, which is the paid version, it's a whopping $20 a month. If you don't have that, you're probably one of the last SEOs on the planet who's yet to sign up for the $20 a month ChatGPT 4 plan. But what's great about it is we can now take massive amounts of data from Google Search Console in the form of these CSV files, which we can go download free of charge. We can give those CSV files to ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT to do the analysis instead of us having to do it. So the real power there comes from something like low-hanging fruit. So a really common thing that we will ask ChatGPT to do is, we'll look at a URL that we want to get more traffic to. We can go to the Search Console and download all of the keywords that URL is indexed for, including rank position, click-through rate, traffic, everything we could possibly want to know, and download all that information very easily.
Will it be better than like a SEM Rush? I mean, essentially, right? That's what SEM Rush is supposed to do, but
it will be better than all of the third-party tools, SEMrush, Ahrefs, all of those, because it's from Google itself, right? All those other tools, they're really just guessing. Like SEMrush, Ahrefs, they can't tell if someone clicks on a result from Google or not. So when they're giving traffic estimates, they're going to say, hey, position 3 historically has a 12% click-through rate, and it looks like they're ranked in position 3, and here's what we estimate the monthly search volume to be. So we'll take 12% times the monthly search volume, and that's what we're going to report the traffic for that keyword. But it's all just a guess.
Right.
Whereas Google is actually tracking. This is how
Right.
many clicks you got for that term. So download all those queries, including where they're ranked and all of that. We'll give that CSV file to ChatGPT, and then we will literally copy all of the content on that URL and give ChatGPT the content, and then ask ChatGPT, hey, rewrite this content for me. Keep in mind user intent, keep in mind relevance. One trick that we use quite a bit, it works really, really well. If there's a keyword and you're ranked on like the second or third page for it, but you have never used that exact match keyword on that page, on that URL, just adding the exact match for that keyword will typically bump you up a couple of spots because Google's machine algorithm likes that. So we'll ask ChatGPT, hey, edit this content, add exact match keywords that we're on the second, third, fourth page for. So that's something that, before ChatGPT, that analysis would take hours.
Right.
And you have to look at the content and look at the keywords and what am I ranking for? How can I edit this content? Blah, blah, blah. Now we can do it in 5 minutes. My editor checks it in 20, 30 minutes to make sure ChatGPT hasn't done something horrible with the content.
Right. Just
and
making
then
sure.
Yeah, exactly. And then we'll load the new content onto the page. And very often we'll see a bump in traffic, 10, 20, 30%.
It's crazy. And so what about links? Is it links just something that will never change? It's just you find a good link, like a place to buy them, and that's it?
I'd hesitate to say that it would never change because Google is getting better and better at figuring out links. So what we can do is you can go into the Search Console and you can download all the links that are coming into your website. Sadly, you probably can't do that for your competitors. Maybe you figured out how to have your competitor give you Search Console access, but that seems unlikely. Probably not. So there you are going to have to use third-party tools, but Ahrefs, SEMrush, Majestic, whatever link checker you want. You can download all of your competitors' links, download all of your links, and give just that mess of files to ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT, hey, I want you to analyze all of these link files. these websites are my competition. This is my website. What links does my competition have
That I don't
that
have.
are quality links that I should go and get? And then you get like a target list. And yeah, I mean, back to the halcyon days of SEO, it still surprisingly works though, is just manually outreaching to some of those organizations,
Right.
whether on LinkedIn or contact forms. You might get lucky. Maybe some of them have like almost like a paid blog sponsorship guest post type scenario. You might get really lucky, and maybe one of them that ends up being a super powerful link. I've had this happen before where you go and you look at the page and that ChatGPT recommended, and if you give the guy a donation, he thanks you by putting a link to your website.
Right.
So,
Right.
okay,
Simple
here's
things. Yeah.
$1 from into your PayPal account, and he's just like, "Oh, thank you for the donation. Let me add a link to the site," and
Right.
then it's being a good link that gets traffic.
Right.
So yeah, ChatGPT can help with some of that link analysis also. And at the end of the day, right, the way that Google works is it keeps its users happy. So if you're ever curious about user intent, right, like what do people want when they actually type a certain keyword into Google? The easiest way to figure that out is, of course, to just type that keyword into Google.
Right.
Because if, say you have a blog post and you have a target keyword and you type that keyword into Google and all of the results are e-commerce stores, right? You're never going to rank a blog post
Right.
because Google's users are typing
Want.
that keyword in with the intent to buy. Exactly.
Correct. Yeah.
The users want the e-com. So that works really well on the first page and pretty well on the second page for a high volume search. But right once you get to the sixth, seventh, eighth page of search results, there's no user data anymore. No one's on the eighth
Nobody's.
page of
Yeah.
Google results. So Google still needs other ways to evaluate, hey, this article this URL, whatever it was that was just published, is this any good?
Hmm.
Or this article that's on the eighth page of results, is this any good? And they have to make that judgment without any user data.
Right.
So everything I'm seeing is they're still using links from trusted websites as a way to evaluate those deeper
Strength.
results. Now, if you're on the first page, like say you're in position 7 or 8 and you want to be in position 2, links are going to do jack all for you there
Right.
because it's user data that's driving first page
Results.
organization.
Right. So outside of like evaluating links and stuff like that, you still would need ways to get links, right? Still would need, good places to buy links or whatever it might be. I mean, listen, in the grand scheme of things, right? People that are in the agencies, they're not doing Black and Decker, they're doing, their local electrician. And
Yeah.
so, ranking for a local electrician, obviously you have your maps. And do you think that for a local electrician, right, to do, let's say the guy has been in business for 7 years, he's on page 6 because he has a piece of garbage website. What's the first steps that you take to essentially clean up his site, make sure that everything is properly SEO'd to get him to jump, to the, or do you even not waste your time trying to rank an electrician on the first page of organic, right? Because then you're dealing with Yelp, you're dealing with all that stuff, and are we only working on Google Business Profiles?
Right. So humorously, I actually within the past couple of days just recorded a video of how to use AI to rank a GBP.
I love it.
So I won't go quite into as much detail as I go into there. I'll just hit the high points. So you asked about organic versus the maps. Organic is still important. Like it can be done, but if you're in the 6th, 7th, 8th page organically, it's very hard to rank in the top 3 for the maps.
Right.
Right. The algorithms are related. So generally, before we start to freak out, why are we not ranking in the maps? We want our organic ranking to be 2nd, 3rd page at the worst.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
So if we're on the first page organically and our GBP is in the top 3, then we probably messed something up with the GBP optimization.
Gotcha.
And ranking organically is not, I mean, for a local site like that, you're going to join the local chamber of commerce, right? You're going to get that link. You're going to create a free BBB account. You're going to get that link. It's no follow, but a link from the BBB is still trusted.
Yep.
You're going to, and again, you can use ChatGPT for it. So you're going to download your competitors' websites. You're going to see who's ranking or who's linking to them. And you're going to try to find, like, hey, are there local sponsorships that you can do? Like, can you sponsor the local youth sports league and get a
Right.
link from one of those highly trusted websites? Is there something you can do? Often, like local newspapers of 100,000, 200,000 population cities, there's often like a business editor,
Hmm.
and that business editor can be struggling to figure out what to write about.
Right.
So I actually got like a front page piece written about me in my local newspaper because I reached out and asked.
Right.
And they're desperate for story ideas, for content ideas. So yeah, reach out to your local newspaper, and you don't need huge numbers of links to do really well locally. So
Locally,
usually
yeah.
usually stuff like that's going to be enough. Um, you're going to do something called citations. I know it sounds weird, but citations worked 10 years ago, and citations
Still
still
do.
work.
Yeah.
Especially if you don't have a GBP yet and you have to get a GBP video verified. We'll generally do the citations and then wait a month before we target the video verification.
Gotcha.
We'll do a press release, and again, that's just it's something that a real business owner would do a press release, a bunch of incoming links, that can do good things. And beyond that, like once you've got all that, now you have to make sure your GBP is consistent with your website. So most local business owners, when they create their business profile, Google asks you, for what category are you? I would say, I don't know, you probably have seen this too, James. 90+% of them have one freaking category.
Oh, right. Oh, I've seen this multiple. I mean, most of them don't even do. They don't even like set any of that up. So I would say like 80% of local businesses literally don't have anything properly set up. Like
Yeah.
it's
So they'll have one category and maybe 2 or 3 services. Google allows you to put 5 categories. So
yeah,
you need to put 5.
right.
And if you're really struggling and you're looking at the long list of categories and trying to figure which ones of these are relevant for me, and in general, this is a good rule to keep in mind. If you're ever struggling and you're trying to figure something out, just go ask ChatGPT.
Right.
So literally, and in the video I recorded, I actually give out the prompts, the exact prompts we use for this. Is you'll ask ChatGPT, hey, I'm a local electrician, I'm in this city, and I'm looking for services for my Google business profile. Give me a list of 20 services. They have to be
Hmm.
specific, that people will be looking for. They can't be vague, blah, blah, blah. And it gives you a list of 20 services. Okay. So copy that, put it on your GBP, and then say, okay, now I need 4 business categories. And in addition to electrician, here's
Hmm.
the 20 services I do that you just told me to do. Give me 4 more categories, and it'll give you 4 more categories. And now you have 20 services, 5 categories. Step one. And again, right, a year, 18 months ago, before ChatGPT, that could take a long time. What services should I put in? What categories are
Sure,
relevant to
of
me?
course, yeah. Like they're just taking the easy way out. It's just because it's a pain. They just want to like even for an agency owner, like for example, my last like local business client was oh my god, I lost the not landscape, hardscape. It was a hardscape client.
Mm,
And when I was
yes.
going through his Google Business profile, I was like, "Oh my god! Like, I really don't feel like I really don't feel like filling all this stuff out." I mean, granted, I shouldn't have been doing it anyway, but I was using it as like a walkthrough case study. But yeah, like thinking like, all right, what else could I call hardscape? What other terms? And then using ChatGPT just to tell me saves 30 minutes of agony in 1 second.
Yeah, exactly. Like we used to optimize a GBP, it used to take us a few hours, and now it takes like 20 minutes.
Yeah,
Like it's just a series of ChatGPT prompts.
yeah,
Um, and then, so we want to make sure that the GBP is consistent with the website. So the way we do that is we match the GBP categories and services with specific pages on the website that have exact matches. And I won't go into the details of that. That's a bit more of a tangent.
Yeah.
But again, ChatGPT can help you write or rewrite content as necessary. And usually, for a lot of local clients, especially if they're under 600,000 people, like in Houston, we'd need a little bit more, of course.
Hmm.
But if we join the local chamber, maybe do a couple of local sponsorships, and then tune up the GBP and tune up the website content to match the GBP, I mean, that's often enough to double, triple their call volume.
So let me go into this because I know that you had that big, I think plumbers, right? Or it was what hot water repair
Plumbers.
or
Mhm.
plumbers. How many plumbers did you end up landing?
We had 60 when we stopped running ads.
So you had 60 plumbers, and how many of them did you get ranked into the maps?
As of right now, there's about 45 of them.
So 45 out of 60.
Yeah.
And
And
are they your current clients still to this day?
yeah. And ones that we didn't rank, we're still working on them, but we got clients in like Brooklyn, Philadelphia. I mean, those, you're not going to be able to rank those in a few
Fast.
months.
Yeah. But what about like some of your examples of like, give me an example of like a smaller city? Because I know I get this question a lot in the agency world. Like, oh, but I live, my population is 20,000 people.
Right. So the really small cities like that, like, we create the website, create the GBP, they rank number one everywhere,
Right.
uh, which looks really cool on a like ranking map, but they don't get a lot of calls.
Yeah. Because of the
Um,
population.
because the population is very small. So we get paid by lead they get. It's not a flat monthly retainer. So for some of these companies, like one of them is in like eclectic Alabama, right? Just middle of nowhere, and they're going to pay me for a couple of leads a month. Right?
Hmm.
They're ranked number one everywhere in their area, but there just aren't that many people to have water heater issues.
Right. 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 Yeah. Right. But I mean, listen, couple, if you get 7 leads, at how much do they pay you per lead?
Yeah, exactly. A few $100 a month for something that,
You don't
yeah,
touch
I
anymore.
set up and just exactly. I don't do anything with it anymore. Like I'll take it.
Yeah.
Right.
What
It's
is
still a
your
good
what do
payback.
you charge per lead? Depends on the area.
No, because we tried something like that, and you end up spending a massive amount of effort to come up with custom proposals. So at scale, it's super helpful if you basically send everyone the same proposal, but make it feel unique.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's one of the ways that we were able to grow so well on Upwork as a platform, also because, we came up with one offering that we just offered to everyone.
Right.
So, we charge $90 per water heater replacement lead.
How many leads total in your whole portfolio did you send last month? I didn't think we are gonna get into this, but now I'm curious.
No, this is new information. We sent a little bit more than 500.
Really? Really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, you get 60 clients. That sounds like a lot, right? But that's fewer than 10 per
Yeah.
GBP.
So I guess it's because the last time I spoke to you, I remember I knew you were doing this, and I'm not gonna get into like the what it is, how you got the idea, all that good stuff, but um, you were running ads. Was it Facebook ads?
Yep.
Facebook ads to plumbers. Your offer was set up their Google business profile,
Yep.
but you owned it, right?
Yeah. So one of the biggest challenges. So it's important distinction here. You asked me how many leads we generated, not how much money I made, right?
Right, right.
Because, and this was a mistake looking back on it, and we're making adjustments going forward. The good news is, as you said, uh, everyone that we started to work with, we had them sign, a document, some paperwork, and basically that said anything that we create during this engagement is ours.
Yep.
Now, I know that you know, these plumbers can definitely go and claim the GBP away from us if the business name matches their paperwork. So, not a huge deal. We can adjust the business name and everything. So they pay us a very small fee, a couple $100. We build them the website, and we basically walk them through how to get the video verification done. We do the citations. We do a press release. We literally will send them a car magnet. We send them business cards. We make sure everything matches. We'll wait a month, and then here's the 15 things that have to be in this GBP verification video. Here's how to do it. So they'll record that on one of our Google accounts, and then we get to work ranking it. We came up with that offer because when we were early on in the ads, we realized that we could either come up with a basically unbeatable offer that it'd be really, really hard to say no to, that was really low cost up front and then get paid per lead, or we could do a better job screening the sales calls, screening the ads, so that we only got plumbers who understood that they're running a business with marketing expenses on the phone. In hindsight, should have gone the second direction, but we went the first direction to get as many clients as possible, as quickly as possible. So one of the bigger challenges that we've had is we'll send leads, we'll listen to the leads, and it might be something like somebody calls one of our GBPs and they say, hey, I don't have any hot water. I think my water heater's broken. And the plumber says, our next availability is in 3 weeks.
Right.
Well, no, that's not going to work for anybody, right? Nobody's going to wait 3 weeks for hot water. And then we'll talk to the plumber and it'll be like, well, what were you doing? The plumbers make like $500 to $1,000 in profit for doing a water heater replacement, which takes them a couple of hours. Right? Drop what you're doing or go over there in the evening, take a couple of hours and make $1,000, right? We don't have any availability for 3 weeks when, earlier you were crying because you were worried about paying your mortgage. How does that square? And then they'll be like, yeah, well, I was just, I was in the middle of something and I didn't want to leave.
Right.
So
now they're not paying for that lead, right?
Well, it's certainly very difficult to get them to pay for that lead. Yes.
Yeah. I figured. Yeah.
Anyway, that was a very long.
But
so we're working on that. But
so now if you own the Google Business Profile, and a plumber is like, I don't want to pay for this. I don't want to pay you anymore. Okay, what do? Take it down?
No, we wouldn't take it down. We change the business name.
That's right. That's what you said.
And then find a plumber in that same area who actually is willing to grow their business.
Yeah. Now I remember that's what you would do. Did you have to do that a couple times already?
Many times, more than I had anticipated.
Yeah, figured. But is it hard to find somebody in the then you probably need like a cold caller to call other plumbers.
It can be, and then the other approach that we've taken is wholesaling the leads. Which also works out. It's less money, but we don't have to deal with clients.
Yeah. And so I know that you came up with this because of, I believe it was because of AI, no? Wasn't that because you realized how much faster you could do this? I don't remember.
No, you're absolutely right. So the service we were offering, we are charging $297 for it. Now, the reason this was an insane offer is because for $300, we're going to build them a website, we're going to rank that website, and then we're not going to get paid again until they start generating leads. Before ChatGPT, that would have been just not impossible, but you would have needed an insane amount of cash to be able to do that.
Right.
So now with ChatGPT, and I think I mentioned this to you, we use GoHighLevel. So I actually had a custom tool built that queries OpenAI's API, and is also linked in with GoHighLevel's custom values. So we can very quickly get content generated, have the human editor check it all, and then click a button and push it all to a website in HighLevel. So building a 16, 17 page website with 15, 20,000 words of content costs me $200.
Yeah. Now, what's the cost come from? Editors?
The human editor time.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, 2 years ago, a 20,000 word website was like 5, 10 grand.
Right. That's interesting. So you're building these in GoHighLevel websites too?
Websites too.
No
And the great thing is,
WordPress.
no WordPress. It's all in HighLevel because it makes copying the sub accounts very easy, and pushing the custom values in very easy. And even images, we're using ChatGPT to AI generate images for us. We knew stock photography just does not work very well in ranking because Google knows it's stock photography, right?
Yeah,
It
so now
has
you're
the reverse
generating
image search.
now you're generating your own like actual photos that nobody's
Exactly.
used before. Yeah.
That no one's used before, and we push them into the HighLevel website with the custom values, same as before. So, in a couple of hours' time, my human editor has created from scratch an entire website that is perfectly optimized with the GBP, has all the images, 16, 17 pages, 20,000 words of content, and he's done it in 3 hours.
It's crazy. So, question for you, because a lot of believe even to this day, like, I'm overseeing like a couple doctors' websites that are being built. Would you use GoHighLevel for doctors' websites?
So I don't know why I wouldn't. I mean, there are versions of HighLevel that can be HIPAA compliant if that is something they need.
No, I wouldn't even. I
Um,
don't even think it's just a website. Like it's just orthopedic surgeon that just wants amazing photos and
so
uh,
why wouldn't I? I guess is the question.
yeah. I don't know the common theme that I see with like WordPress. The married to WordPress is like, oh, you can't rank in Google on it used to be ClickFunnels, let's say website or a GoHighLevel website versus a WordPress, right? That's like I argue with Chris all the time. He's obsessed with WordPress, and I'm like, dude, do you understand how long everything takes? Like building, in my opinion, I've built websites before, build them in GoHighLevel or build them in WordPress. WordPress is like the Eliminator or whatever the heck that thing was called. I wanted to like, do this, and like I don't know if it's just because I didn't know it well, but it just takes so damn long to build these websites. It's just crazy. And so, what you just said is you can get a website built, a 20-page website built in I don't know how long you said, but fast.
Few hours. And so, I mean, one of the mistakes that people make, so one of the biggest differences, right, is WordPress websites can be a lot faster
Yeah.
than any click and drag builder, ClickFunnels, HighLevel, Weebly, Wix, any of those, Square, whatever you want to use, they're all going to be slower than WordPress. And WordPress is always going to be slower than something that's custom built, hard coded in HTML from the ground up, right? So,
Yeah.
like, if you're talking about a website for Adobe or Stanley Black and Decker, yeah, they're custom coding HTML so that or they should be,
Right.
so
Or
that
they
it
should be.
loads faster, right? So we're always going to give up load speed, but as long as we don't do stupid things like upload a full resolution image and then resize it in the builder, like,
Right.
don't do that. Please
Right.
don't never do anything. But if you did that in WordPress, that would be pretty bad anyway.
Yeah.
So as long as you treat the images right and make sure they're the correct sizes and make sure they're compressed and blah blah blah. Honestly, like if you're talking about a local business, the load speed's not going to be a massive difference because your Joe Blow's electrical shop, which is your competition, he does not have a hard coded HTML
No matter
website
what.
that's
Yeah.
optimized to the 10th degree,
Yeah.
right? And I've said this before, one thing to keep in mind with SEO, right? It's like going to the woods on a camping trip with your friends and a bear shows up, right? You don't need to outrun the bear. You just need to outrun your slowest friend.
Right. Exactly.
So with SEO, you just need to be better than whoever's competing for those specific keywords you're targeting. You don't need to be perfect.
Yeah. No, I agree. Especially when it comes to like, just the low hanging fruit. And to me, the low hanging fruit is just, any blue collar niche. I mean, almost anything in any business, right? Like if it's not a brand business, anything better. Like, I guess my point is that people take it too serious when it comes to local businesses and all the work they think they need to do on a website, on ranking, on running ads and stuff like that. Like, it really doesn't need much to get results for clients, especially in
Right.
like local areas. And so I guess my question to you would be, what's the main things that AI is now helping when it comes to SEO? Like, what are the main things?
Well, so it's funny, right? Like one of the things, so keyword research, I'm trying
Yep.
to organize my thoughts here and words keep coming out before my thoughts are organized.
No, you're good.
Um, so AI can do an excellent job with keyword research. And when I say excellent job, I mean like phenomenal, absolutely like 10 out of 10, mind-blowingly good. Because one of the things that AI can do, so if you're trying to rank, HVAC Houston or HVAC Chicago or whatever it is, or pick a city, when you ask ChatGPT to do research for that client in that city, and in some of my YouTube videos, I give the exact prompt we use. You can ask ChatGPT to mention hyper local neighborhoods, local festivals that take place, local weather patterns, local language nuances in this keyword research, so that if you're writing about HVAC Houston, you're not writing about it like somebody who lives in Wayne, New Jersey.
Right.
You're writing about River Oaks and the Heights and Montrose and all these small neighborhoods in Houston that you can write about because ChatGPT told you they exist without having to do the hours and hours of research. But beyond that, even going a step further, in my mind, and a lot of what I've seen, like establishing topical relevancy is becoming more important in some ways, even than keywords. So what that means is we need to come up with different topics and then organize content in these topical silos because Google wants to see that we're comprehensive, that we comprehensively cover a topic, we have authority on that topic. And the easiest way to do that is to write about everything that Google thinks is relevant for it,
Yeah.
right? So you've probably seen, it's a super common one by now, the people also ask trick, where you can type in plumber Houston, and if there's a people also ask, then click on it to open and expand, and it grows and grows and grows.
Yeah.
So you can literally copy that entire people also ask section, give it to ChatGPT, give ChatGPT your homepage content, and then ask ChatGPT, hey, write me an FAQ that answers the relevant questions from the people also ask section using the information and the content that I'm providing you. So a
Hmm.
lot less concern about hallucination because you're giving ChatGPT the content
The
and asking it
content.
to
Yeah.
create an FAQ. And then you can go another step further and ask ChatGPT, hey, of those questions in the FAQ that we've answered, which one would have an in-depth enough response to justify their own article? And then ChatGPT will make some recommendations. And then you can say, cool, write those for me. And then ChatGPT writes all of these articles that expands on the FAQ. And in the FAQ section, you link to the article that answers that question in more detail. And that question you link back up. And suddenly you have this massive topical map that, I mean, we used to do research for it manually, and we'd be on like BuzzFeed and Quora and Reddit trying to figure out a topical map. And now we can do it with one ChatGPT prompt.
Yeah. It's
And then
awesome.
we can write all of the content with another ChatGPT prompt.
Yeah. And that's all being put on on your client's website, and just solidifying that the business owner that this is what I always said. SEO, if done right, right. So a lot of times, like when it comes to SEO back in the day, it was like, you know, you're constantly trying to find what else can I do, right? So it's like, all right, I've gotten them from whatever new business or page 7, 8, all the way up to page 3 or 2 or 3, and it's like I don't know what to do. I just got to keep throwing more links, and now I think a big change now would be that now you could kind of find those silos and just create the content that Google wants, which ultimately maybe one day the content will be the deciding factor in the in-depth content and how localized these local businesses get about writing the content, and maybe that will mean more than the links, right? One day.
Maybe, but for a local business, we don't do more than one link per URL. Rarely will we do more than that. So if we publish the URL, and you can't just say like, hey, I'm on the second page. You need one of those map-based local rank
Yeah.
trackers that shows you the rank position over a map. Um, and the first step that we always take with a new client is we're going to publish service pages and supporting pages and FAQs and topical relevance for those service pages until we get at least, the one, usually it's the one right on top of their address that turns to top 3 first.
Mm-hmm.
Once we get that first one of the top 3, then our goal is to the grow the area that they're ranking in.
Uh-huh.
So then we start publishing content about specific neighborhoods and locations related to those services to try to turn those neighborhoods
Pages,
green.
rankings. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy, man. So what else do you think is going to happen in this AI world of SEO?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, right? Like couple years ago, hey, I'm not ranking. Let me throw more links, throw more links, throw
Right.
more links. We did that because it was easy to throw more links, right? Links were inexpensive and good content was expensive. And now it's the other way around, right? Good content is not free because you need a human editor, right? It's going to be very hard to rank in a competitive space if you just publish AI dribble. And yeah, obviously the fact checking is important because you don't want to just be lying about things. But in my mind, if you're just purely trying to rank, uniqueness is much more important. You need a human to go in and make the content actually unique. If you don't do that, you'll very likely find yourself the victim of, the helpful content update, the March core algorithm update. A lot of people are saying those updates were rolled out to punish people who used AI. I completely disagree. I
So
think that,
that's a good thing that you brought that up, because I wanted to ask that. I should have wrote it down, because so before you answer that, I think it was what, March 15th?
So it was rolling out over most of the month of March was the core algorithm update. Yeah.
Yeah, and so from like a lot of like people that I know in the blogging space, I mean, completely and totally got murdered like on this
Yeah.
update. And what they all said was, "Oh, I was really heavy on AI content." And so, give me your thoughts on that. What was the
Right.
name of it, by the way?
So it started in like November of last year with the helpful content update.
Yeah.
And then this March update basically rolled the helpful content update into the core search algorithm. So it's notionally like a fine tuning of the helpful content update. So most of the people who lost a ton of traffic in March lost a ton of traffic last November also.
Yeah.
Not all, but most. And yeah, I mean, if you would just, and Google knows, right? Google crawls the entire internet. So if your content is nothing more than an AI rewriting of existing content, and that's all AI can basically do, take stuff that already exists and rewrite it slightly, then, I mean, you probably didn't fare very well. Like
Right.
that's going to be pretty brutal for you, those updates. But if you took content that AI wrote and then you added
More prompts, right?
uniqueness,
Yeah.
what's that?
Well, by just giving it more prompts, meaning like,
No, you actually need a human editor to go in and actually write and edit and add things
gotcha.
because AI can't be unique, right? AI can't provide unique information, not yet, at least.
Not yet, at least, yeah.
But basically, by definition, with how it works, it cannot provide unique information. So you need your human editor to go in and add unique information to the content. And so the thing that's upsetting about it is I know a lot of people who didn't have AI content had human written content that got hammered by this update because Google doesn't care if
Yeah.
your content was AI or human written. It cares whether it is unique,
Right.
helpful. Now, of course, they don't define helpful. Um, and that helpful content, one of the worst things about it, and for anyone who got hit by it, you have my condolences. I have anyone who has an example of this, I would love to see it. I have yet to see a single example of a website that got negatively impacted by November's helpful content or March's core algorithm update and been able to meaningfully recover.
Interesting, right?
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. Like usually with these Google algo updates, like within a couple of months, you start to see all these examples of websites that have recovered, and this is what they did, and this is how they did it, and that gives you sort of a playbook of, okay, no problem, I can go and do that, and I can recover. But I mean, November now was what, 6 months ago,
Yeah.
and I know of websites that were making 5, 6 figures a month that haven't recovered.
Yeah. It's so scary. That's what the SEO, that's what I've always been, again, different type of business model when it comes to like local businesses and ranking their site in the maps. Like they don't really get touched by, I mean, at least I don't think on these Google updates. There's really not like if you're a local business, you have reviews, like you're there, you got a good website, do the things that you talked about. You're pretty much solidified your ranking, and probably never will move from it. Maybe unless somebody does it better and bumps you a spot or two. But
That's
and
exactly
that's
what I
why
was
they
going to
need to
say.
keep paying, right? That's why they need to keep paying.
I haven't seen algo updates affect local clients significantly. Um, Not algo updates, but I know Google cracked down on fake reviews.
Sure.
So there were not clients of ours, but there were GBPs that lost hundreds of reviews overnight, and that clearly affected ranking. Uh, Reviews are not like a huge signal for local ranking, but they're
Right.
very important to get the calls, to get the clicks.
Yep.
So yeah, but and the other aspect of this, and one of the examples I use is if you look at the search mortgage calculator, right? And this is pre-chat GPT, but all of these mortgage companies spent a ton of money to do SEO to rank for the
For
search
that.
term mortgage calculator. It had a 90% click-through rate when somebody searched for mortgage calculator. And then what Google did, and you can see it if you search for that term right now, they embedded a mortgage calculator onto the search engine results page. So
Right.
the click-through rate went from 90+%
To
to like
nothing.
30%.
Yeah.
Because now no one has to click anymore. There's a mortgage calculator right there. So, you lost 70% of your traffic, even though nothing changed except Google isn't giving you the click anymore. It's keeping it for its own purposes. So as we see Google's Gemini
Hmm.
get more and more integrated with Google search, I could easily see a 20 to 30% drop in clicks for informational queries that
Right.
the AI can answer, which is one of the reasons, I know you and I talked about this, it's one of the reasons that we made that hard pivot to local services, because I think we're a long way away from AI being able to replace your water heater.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. And by the way, um, it reminded me because now, like, I've been searching certain things, whatever. And I actually, for a while, I was just reading like the top, like, the top result. And I actually didn't realize it until like a week ago that it says AI, here's what AI or something like that on Google. Like this is from AI or something. I don't remember what it said. And I'm like,
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
I was like, you said that that's what was going to be. And you were right.
Yeah. So I mean, if I had a website that was focused on informational queries generating traffic,
Problem.
I would I would be nervous.
And that's what I love about the local business. Like what you just said was when you're going for a local service, like you got to go get your teeth cleaned. It don't matter what AI wants to show you, bring you up. You're gonna have to go find the dental office to make sure that you can go fix your cavity. And that's why I agree. And that's why I think the agency model is still. I mean, it's just to me, people will argue that e-com is the best, or affiliate marketing is the best, or whatever. But to me, I mean, there's just too many opportunities now, especially with like being able to just get massive results for local clients, whether it be via SEO, whether it be paid ads and SEO. That's always still to this day has been the best way we've run it, was ads right in the beginning to get results. SEO, when the SEO kicks in and they're getting calls from their maps listing, you can turn the ads off, and now they're just paying you to keep them in the maps listing.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
now with your ability to generate content the right way, without so many work hours, without so many man hours, and get it done faster, which means rankings will happen faster, it's just more results for your clients.
And the reason that happens, because you might be thinking, well, I mean, SEO is a zero-sum game, right? If you get more traffic to your website, it's because somebody else is getting less traffic.
Yep.
So content being very inexpensive now, well, isn't everyone just going to publish a ton of free content about, or a ton of content about everything? And the answer is, well, I mean, one, right, you're talking about local services here, right? These are websites that don't often publish content for years.
Yep.
And just because the content is cheaper now, you know,
Doesn't mean they're going to go and do it.
the local electrician isn't going to log into his ChatGPT, 4 account and have ChatGPT write him some content for his website, right? It's
Yep.
going to sit as stagnant as it ever has, unless he's hired an SEO agency.
Yep.
So, I mean, if in a city like Houston, where the top 3 results for almost any local service, almost guaranteed, are paying big SEO dollars, which makes sense, right? How big do you think an HVAC company would be if they're ranked top 3 in Houston for HVAC Houston, right?
Wouldn't even be able to handle the amount of traffic
Yeah,
unless they're big enough to handle it.
yeah, if they're big enough to handle the traffic, they're mid 7 figures, low 8 figures easy just from that GBP position.
Yep.
So yeah, those types of places in major cities, like that's where you're going to have to start to really, be careful, but crank out a bunch of content to keep up, because you don't want that guy in number 4 position to overtake you.
Yes. Exactly. Then it comes to battle of who's actually doing something.
And as it is not the volume of content, and especially with the recent Google update, it is not volume. Please, whatever you do, don't go just publish AI drivel and
Tens of
expect
thousands of.
rankings to improve.
Yeah,
What?
it has to be. It has to. No, I'm saying like go publish 10,000 articles of nothing that makes no sense. Yeah,
Yeah,
I get it.
that worked last summer. That worked great last summer.
Yeah, but so and again, that brings us to the point of, the content needs to make sense, and like who knows, like you said, if you're doing it without having the editor, who knows what they're actually saying it. Nobody's reading it; they're just publishing it, and it wouldn't make sense. And then you're going to get hit by that kind of content update from Google. Well, I know you're coming out with a training on all this. I know you're working on it. So when available, I'll put it in the link down below if anybody's interested in getting more information on that. Also, you will be in our coaching program at some point when you're done with it, probably offering it to our students. So if you do want to get it at the cheapest price, you can go and click it, our link for our coaching program. You like that one, right? Twisted on you?
That's good, yeah.
That was good. And then also they could check out your YouTube channel, right? I know you've been putting a lot of content up there.
James, I know you've been yelling at me for years to get my YouTube channel going, and I didn't. And you know what? I regret that, right? The best time to start a YouTube channel is 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But I did it in January. So, we're growing. It's small. But I mean, I tell you, I gave away a lot of the prompts, the exact prompts that we use at my agency and how we use ChatGPT. I have a video publishing tomorrow, May 7th. It's 43 minutes long, and it breaks down exactly how we use AI to fulfill our top 7 SEO services.
Yeah, I'll go check that out myself. So make sure you can subscribe to Caleb and turn those notifications on, all about SEO ranking and all that good stuff. So I appreciate you jumping on. I'm going to end it now before it gets We're at about an hour, so it went pretty good this time. At least I don't have to edit anything. I'm not going to edit this one. I'm just going to put it up there the way it is.
All
Um,
right.
yeah, so I appreciate you jumping on. Just don't jump off yet. We'll discuss more things.
No,
So
thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it.
absolutely, anytime. We'll probably reconvene again like 6 months down the road when everything is